Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Game Society, I call this the Tale of the Baron Returns.
First up, we have Tatiana. She has Danger Sense, Accurate, and Nimble, and her bow. Next up, we have Grisband. He has the Iron Battle Axe, Rage, Charge, and still a Stamina Potion, and the other item he already used. We have Shalara, who has Exploding Rune, Runic Knowledge, Mana Weave, Arcane Bolt, Oak Staff, and Bright Blaze. And then last up for the heroes, we have Ashirin, who has Drain Spirit, Healing Rain, Stone Skin, Leather Armor, and the Elm Greatbow. The Overlord has the Lieutenant Baron Zakareth. He can do Dominion. He has Pierce 2, Subdue, and because they're playing 4 champions, 4 movement, 16 health, 1 black defensive die. He also has the Shadow Rune, so normally his attack would be melee, but it gets to be ranged, and then he gets to do a bunch of different effects like add range, damage, and drawing extra cards. At the beginning of Shalara's turn, she's going to have Bright Blaze go 1, 2, 3, 4. Should have done this before Grisband attacked, but it's too late. It would have given Pierce 1. I don't think it would have changed anything. She's going to use her first action to move. 1, 2. She's going to save her 1 more movement point. She's going to do a blast attack targeting the Master Spider, Cave Spider right there. So she's going to use, right here, it's going to cost, where is it? 1 for the Exploding Rune. 1 fatigue. She's going to then take this. Let's bring this up here as reminders of all of the stuff we can do. Arcane Bolt. She does need a range of 2. She gets a yellow and a blue. She's going to roll against the red Master Spider, who gets additional brown die for the Dark Champions threat card, and then the gray defensive die. So a lot going on. So first attack, there's also Pierce 1. All right, so she ends up doing Pierce 1. She got the range. So 4 minus the 1 is 3 damage on the Master Spider. So let's go ahead and put that on the Master Spider. It's going to be the same roll against the other spider. So it's going to be the 4 damage. Actually, we are going to use the Mana Weave Ring to add a Surge right there. And I forgot we also, we did already do the Pierce, to suffer a Fatigue right there, to do Runic Knowledge, to do an extra 2 damage. So the spider does get hit for an extra 2. So it's 5 damage. All right, and let's see what the regular minion cave spider rolls. All right, so 6 damage with the pierce. So that spider actually gets taken out. So that is the end of the hero's turn. At the beginning of the Overlord turn, they draw a card right there. They get Frenzy, which allows for a double attack. So they're also going to activate Word of Misery. Play this card at the start of your turn. During this turn, each time a hero suffers any damage, they also suffer 1 fatigue in addition to the damage suffered. So this is going to be a pretty brutal turn for the heroes. All right. Also, the first move is going to be, let's think about this. The cave spiders are going to go first. It's going to use 1 movement and then interrupt, and then it's going to finish up its movement after this. So it's going to attack Grisband right there. Ashirin is going to use Stone Skin to make sure Grisband gets an extra defensive die. So 2 gray dice, and then the spider gets to roll a blue and a yellow. The master one right there. So let's see what we end up getting. We end up doing 1, 2, 3 damage minus the 1 defense. So 2 damage goes through on Grisband right there. So that's what, 9 of 14, so 5 left. It's also going to, Grisband does receive a fatigue for the Word of Misery. And then the next action will be another Frenzy. Frenzy right there, so another attack. So it still gets its movement, I believe. So we're going to put that over there. Another attack goes through. There's only 1 gray die for Grisband because Stone Skin is used up. So let's see what ends up happening. It's going to be 3 damage against 3 defense. Grisband's pretty lucky. So then the cave spider is going to finish up its movements. It did 1. It has 3 left. Let's go with 1, 2, 3. It's just going to scoot back right over there. That's the end of the cave spider's turn. Next up is Tatiana. She's going to go towards this vat to knock it down. She's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. She can't go past the water. And then her second move is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. So that's the end of her turn. Next up is Grisban. He's going to spend 1 fatigue to go right here to move right there. So that fills him up to 4. But then he's going to flip over the stamina potion because it's not an action to heal up all of the fatigue. So we don't have to place it. He's then going to use charge, which costs 2 to go 1, 2, 3 and do a melee attack on the dragon. He's just going to use his Iron Battle Axe. He does get a Pierce because of Bright Blaze and another Pierce, so Pierce 2. The dragon gets 2 gray dice. He gets a red and a blue. So let's see what rolls. He just has to do 1 damage to get rid of the dragon. We'll have to throw that in there real quick. So that's 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the dragon is definitely taken out right there. First shadow dragon is gone. And then for his second action, he's going to tip this vat over, which is one of the 3 vats he needs to get rid of all of the doors. Last up is Shalara. She gets her Mana Weave ring back. She's going to have Bright Blaze go first. 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. So there's going to be some Pierce if the dragon moves nearby. And then she gets a 3 movement for her first action. 1, 2, 3. And then her second action is going to be to rest to get rid of all of these fatigue tokens. So that's the end of the hero's turn. Shalara is going to go next. She's going to use Bright Blaze first. 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. It's going to be right there behind the Shadow Dragon. She gets to move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then she's going to take a range shot from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She needs to get 5. So let's go ahead and gather up all her stuff. So the dragon gets 2 gray and a brown. She gets her Mana Weave ring, Arcane Bolt, and Runic Knowledge, and Bright Blaze, just a reminder. So what does she need to get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 range on a blue and a yellow. So let's see what ends up happening. All right, she does not too good here. She does have Pierce 1. So let's go and set, she needs 5 range, so we will need to add 1 for range, but it's going to be 2 damage against the, after the Pierce, still a 3. So nothing's going to affect her. She could do this right here. They get 1 more surge, so 2 more Pierce, so 3 Pierce. So she's doing 1 damage, just 1 damage on the dragon. So we're going to go ahead and put that right there. She still had to try. You never know what the dice are going to roll. All right, that's the end of her turn. Grisband is next. He's going to first use a move 1, 2, 3, and then he's going to charge. He's probably going to go 1, 2, 3. The heroes have to split up because there's the dragon breath that can happen. So we're going to go ahead and spend the 2 fatigue for the charge ability. 1, 2, 3. He gets to attack with his axe. The axe gets a Pierce 1, and then the Bright Blaze gets a Pierce 1. So I'm going to go ahead and roll a blue and a red. The dragon gets 2 gray and a brown. This dragon, Shadow Dragon, is really brutal. All right. That's going to be for 5 damage with 2 pierce. I messed it up last round when a Sheeran attacked, but the dragon actually has shadow, so when it's being hit with a melee attack right there, the hero has to spend a surge, or else it basically dodges it into the shadows. So this is brutal. No damage will actually go through. Grisband is going to use his heroic feat right here. That allows him to get another attack through. He's also going to use this heroic token to remove a stamina or a fatigue, and then he's going to rage to get an extra damage. All right, so we're going to go ahead and flip this. He has Pierce 2 and an extra damage. He does need to roll the surge to get rid of the stamina ability from the Shadow Dragon. All right, let's see what happens here. Remember, 1 damage, 2 pierce, no surges, so the attack just doesn't go through again. It's pretty brutal. All right, that's the end of the hero turn. All right, at the beginning of the Overlord turn, they draw a card. This is going to be Dark Might, which is good. It adds another surge, so the dragons can be able to do a lot of damage this turn. At the beginning of the Overlord turn, it's going to take the Shadow Dragon activation. It's going to attack a Sheeran right here. So it gets a blue and a red. And then Sheeran gets a gray and a brown die right there. She is going to use her Stone Skin ability to get another die, gray die. That costs a fatigue right there. So let's see everything that happens. Remember, we have Dark Might with the Overlord. Oops, let's drop that in. Oh, jeez, everything's dropping. All right, so let's move this aside. We have 4 damage and a surge. The Overlord's going to use one of their bubbling vats from the first scenario to get an extra surge, but the heroes will use their second and last one to cancel 1 surge. So that was just a wash because no one got more bubbling vats than the other. All right, so it's doing 4 damage plus the surge, so 6 damage minus 3. So Asherin takes 3 damage right there. That goes up to a 5. And then the Overlord could do another surge for another 2. It's not going to do that. It's going to save that right there. All right, then it's going to use its fire breath, which is just going to, I think Crispin was supposed to be over here. Sorry, I think I messed it up. I knocked it over. It's going to do the fire breath. It can't hit 2 people. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's no way to hit 2 of them. So it's going to hit Grisband right there with a red and a blue. Grisband gets a gray die for defense. So let's see what happens. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. Grisband got lucky with the defensive roll. 5 damage plus surge. 6, 7, minus 3. So 4 damage in Grisband. 2, 3, 4. All right, that's the end of the Shadow Dragon's activation. Baron Zakareth is going to go next. He's going to move 2 right here, and then he's going to do, sorry, the dragon's too big, a attack right here on Asherin. It doesn't need any range, so we're rolling a red and a blue on a gray and a brown for Asherin. He's going to try to get another subdue effect right here, so let's see what happens. He finally gets some hits, so 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's really good. There's 1 defense. So 3 damage is going to go through. He's going to do subdue to give her immobilize. He's thinking about if he wants to do Dark Might to add another 2 damage, which would be 5. It would get rid of her, but then I don't know if he gets the subdue. So he's going to save that and then go ahead and do the 3 damage. 1, 2, 3 right there. And then she receives immobilize. Let's go ahead and give her that. So she cannot move for a turn, and then he gets the immobilize token that he can turn into the cauldron later on. All right, and then he moved 2, so he's just going to move 1 more to go back. Actually, 1, 2 to start moving towards the vat, because next turn 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can turn in those. That'll be half of his victory condition. He still needs to do disease and poison. All right, the flesh molders don't have anything relevant to do, so that's the end of the Overlord turn. I'm actually going to backtrack a little bit. The Overlord will use Dark Might, which adds 2 more damage to get rid of Asherin. I do believe the condition still goes on to her. He can do Subdue first. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that makes sense. So she gets knocked out. Her little token will be placed there. All right, her token gets placed there. The Overlord's going to decide to get a threat token instead of drawing an Overlord card right there. So a threat token. And then she fills up to her max damage that she received. And then she also fills up on her full stamina right there. So it does knock out her. He only gets the threat token 1 time per hero knocked out. So we're going to put a little reminder that he already got the threat token from defeating her. All right. Sorry for the quick backtrack. All right. Tatiana is up next. She gets to move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She does have range out of the corner. She needs to roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in range. 4 in range because of her hero ability that gives additional range. On the Shadow Dragon, it gets the 2 gray and the brown, and she gets the blue and the yellow. So let's see if she gets the range. She also has a reroll on the yellow. All right. So she got the range. So she ends up doing, let's see, 2 damage plus a surge. And then there's 1 defensive die over there. But the Shadow Dragon is still next to Bright Blaze. So that is Pierce 1. So she's going to add 2 damage. So 4 damage get to go through. She could reroll this if she wants. She's going to. All right, that was ended up being kind of poor. So she's going to do 3 damage, and she does get to use her extra little surge to remove a fatigue. So at least she gets that. So 3 damage onto the Shadow Dragon. This Shadow Dragon with the Dark Champions has 11 health, which is a lot. right there. That's the end of her turn. Grisben's going to go next. He's going to take an attack with his Iron Battle Axe. He has Pierce 2, 1 for the axe, 1 for Bright Blaze, red and a blue on a 2 gray and a brown. All right, he's just trying to do as much damage as possible. Give me a second to go ahead and grab that again. All right, let's see. Ooh, that is a miss. I don't think he has anything he can use to reroll. So yeah, that's unfortunate. His second action, he could attack again. He's thinking about it, but he also wants to get the fatigue back, the stamina, so he can start getting like extra damage and stuff. Let me think about it real quick. All right, I thought about it. It makes sense, I think, to do another attack rather than rest. It is kind of up in the air. The rest does set him up for the future, but they really need to take out the Shadow Dragon, and he does a lot of damage with his axe. And he got another miss. All right, that's the end of his turn. All right, Shalari gets to go next. She gets her Mana Weave ring back. She's going to go ahead and go 1, 2, and then attack the Shadow Dragon. So she's going to try to do as much damage as possible. Spring over the Mana Weave ring. Arcane Bolts. Runic Knowledge is good. She has Bright Blaze, so she needs to get 1, 2, 3 range. A yellow and a blue on 2 gray and a brown. So let's see. All right, so we have a lot going on right here. So Pierce 1, that's gone. And then she has 3 damage and 2 surges. 3 surges if she wants. Did she get the range? She did. So I had to double check that first. So she's going to do 2 damage. Use Runic Knowledge to suffer fatigue to do 2 more. So that's 4. And then this for Pierce 2. So that's 5, 6. She's going to use, well, I guess it's 4 damage on the 1 because of the Pierce 2. So 3 damage will be going through. She's going to give an extra surge to remove a fatigue. All right, so then, what did I say again? That was going to be 3, 4, 5 damage on the 1 left. So 4 damage goes through. All right. 5, 6, 7, 8 damage on the dragon. The dragon has 11 life, so 3 more. She does get to finish her move. She's going to backtrack so the dragon doesn't get to do a multi-fire attack on both of them. The last action is a Sharon. She's going to do stand up. So she rolls 2 red dice and then recover health and fatigue based on what she rolls. So she gets to heal up 5. So that goes there. She gets to resurrect right here. Stands up right here. But she doesn't get to take another action. So now it's the end of the hero's turn. All right, at the beginning of the Overlord turn, they draw a card. It's Dark Resilience. Oh, this is going to be really good for the dragon. They're going to end up using this, but we're going to go ahead and take Baron's Zakareth's turn first. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to drop off the stunned and immobilize status tokens into the cauldron. So at the beginning of the next Overlord turn, each of the heroes will have to choose one person to get immobilized and stunned. He needs to turn in a poison and a disease to win the scenario. So that is the goal. And then next up is going to be the dragon. He's going to use Dark Resilience on it. Roll 2 red dice. The dragon will heal up based on the hearts rolled. This is not looking good for the heroes. So let's go ahead and go here. Roll the 2 red dice. 6. Woo! That is brutal. So 5, 6. So the Shadow Dragon still has, I think it's 9 life left. Right, and then it's going to take its first action is going to just do a regular attack on Sharon. She doesn't have enough fatigue to use Stone Skin, but she does get an extra health. All right. Oh, I forgot she did have an extra health right there. She did. She would not have been KO'd earlier, but yeah, I guess it's hard to backtrack that. All right, I messed that up. All right, but the dragon's going to attack with the red and a blue right here. And then she gets a gray and a brown. The special abilities are just kind of extra damage here, and then also another surge for the Dark Champions. All right, that ends up being a miss. There's nothing that the Overlord can do to combat that. So then it's also going to use its second action to do a Fire Breath right here on, I think on, Grisband. Grisband, so red and a blue. Grisband gets a gray die. So let's see what we end up getting. 2, 3 damage right there on Grisband, no defense. So these 2 turn into a 5. All right, and then the flesh molders can't do anything useful, so that's the end of the Overlord turn. All right, Tatiana's going to take the first turn. She's going to take a shot at the Shadow Dragon with her Elm Great Bow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, she needs 4 range because of her special ability. Blue and a yellow against 2 gray and a brown. Does she get the range? She does not get the range, but she does have some abilities to use. Well, this is a lot of defense. So it's 3 damage. There is Pierce 1 because of Bright Blaze, so it takes care of that. She can add another range, but it's still 3 damage against 5. She can use her heroic feat to do 1 damage, but she doesn't think it's worth it. She's just going to take another shot, and she needs to get 4 range again. So her second action is another shot with the Elm Great Bow. She got the range that time, and it's 3 damage, which is really good. So that turns into a 5. That is the end of Tatiana's turn right there. All right, Grisband's going to take the second turn. He's going to go ahead and attack with his Iron Battle Axe. There is also Bright Blaze. I'm just going to put this as a reminder so I don't forget stuff. A blue and a red against 2 gray and a brown. Like I said, there's 2 Pierce. All right. That's pretty good. This kind of goes away because of the 2 Pierce. 4 damage plus a surge, so 6 damage. It's going to end up doing 6 damage. So that's, I think, does that take it out? 6, that's 11. That actually does take out the Shadow Dragon. So, all right, that's the first action right there. His second action is going to be to rest, to get off this fatigue. Kind of needs to catch up and be able to use charge and rage. All right, that's the end of his turn. Sharon's going to take the next turn. She's going to go over here and tip over in the last vat right there. Therefore, all of the doors open up. So we're going to go ahead and open those up. And now their goal is to get rid of the Baron. The Baron needs to collect the 4 different status tokens up there in the cauldron. All right, so that's the end of her turn. The last turn is Shalara. She's going to move Bright Blaze to go 1, 2, 3 right here. So there's going to be Pierce 1 on that one. She's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. She is going to attack from that corner to the Flesh Molder, the minion. 1, 2, 3, 4. She needs 4 damage. Sorry, 4 range. She gets a yellow and a blue for her Arcane Bolt. And the Flesh Molder gets a gray defensive die. It has 4 health. All right, so let's see what she's going to end up doing. Did she get the range? She got the 6. She does. She has the pierce, so it doesn't matter. So she needs to find a way to do 4 damage. It's going to be the 2 damage plus Runic Knowledge to suffer fatigue to do 2 more damage. So it does take out the Flesh Molder, and then she'll use this other one to get rid of the Unspent Surge to get rid of the fatigue right there. So that is taken out. That's the end of the hero's turn. At the beginning of the Overlord turn, the heroes have to choose one person to get stunned and immobilized. So they are going to have Shalara get stunned right there. And then for immobilized, they're going to choose a Sheeran, so she won't be able to move. So these are pretty rough for the heroes. They are stacking up. All right. And then also at the beginning of the Overlord turn, they have to draw a card. This stack has been all used, so we have to shuffle real quick. The Overlord ends up getting Critical Blow, which is really good right now. All right, the Overlord's going to have Baron Zakareth go first. 1, 2, interrupt his movement. He's going to attack Sheeran here. He needs to get a 3, 4, 5, 6 range. All right, let's go ahead and gather all this stuff right here. So 6 range with the red and a blue. She gets a gray and a brown. That ends up being, let's see if we get the range. He does not get the range, so that's just straight up a miss. He does get to finish up his movement. He's going to go up 2 more just to backtrack over there to stay safe. Right, the Flesh Molders are going to go first. They end up having 4 movements. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They attack with ranged with a yellow and a blue die. So it's going to go ahead and attack Shalara right here. Needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 range. So yellow, blue, 5 range on a gray die. Let's see what ends up happening. They have a heal ability. I'll just bring it over here. So let's see if the 5 happens. We don't have enough range. And that's it. There you go. That is a miss. That's the end of that Flesh Molder. The next one is going to be 1, 2. It's going to also attack Shalara. I believe it can reach through the corner. 1, 2, 3. So same thing. Yellow and blue against a gray. Let's see what it gets. It got the range, so it's going to do 2 damage. And then minus the 1, so we can add that surge to do 3 damage. So 2 damage goes through. So let's put 2 damage on Shalara. All right. Oops, that's not 2 damage. That was 6. 2 damage. So move 2. It's going to go 3, 4 back. And the master one's going to go 1, 2. It's going to attack a Sharon right here. This one does get to do a little bit more. A yellow and a blue. So let's see if we get the 4 range. She also gets a brown die. Dropping everything. I don't think it matters because that was a miss. So then the flesh molder gets to move 2 more spaces. It's going to go back just to 1, 2. It's going to go right there. Just to make sure that Shalara can't do a blast attack. So that's the end of the Overlord turn. Sharon's going to go first. She has immobilized, so she can't move. So her turn is just going to be to rest. So that was pretty rough for her. All right, so that's going to go over here. This does get rid of at the end of the turn, so that's gone. All right, so that's the end of her turn. And then Shalara is going to take her turn next. She's going to move Bright Blaze first. 1, 2, right there. She's going to go ahead and do a attack on this flesh molder right here. She needs to get a range, I believe, of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She gets yellow and a blue on the gray defensive die. It has 4 health, so we're going to grab all the reminders of everything that she can use right over here. All right, like I said, she needs to do 4 damage. All right, so let's go ahead and roll that. Ooh, there is Pierce 1, so let's see if we can do enough. 1 surge. She can end up doing Pierce 2 here. Use the Mana Weave. So Pierce 2 is Pierce 3, so the defensive die doesn't matter. She's trying to get the 4 damage. She'll use the ring Mana Weave to suffer fatigue right there to add 2 more damage. Oh, I have to restart. She was stunned. For actions is going to be to get rid of the stun, and the second one was her attack. All right, so she uses the second surge to get a fatigue to add 2 more damage. So that is 4 damage. That takes out this flesh molder right there. The Overlord is going to use Armor of Darkness here to spend this threat to exhaust this to give it 2 more defense. So it ends up only receiving 2 health right there. And then this threat token gets handed out to a hero. They're going to give it to, I believe, Grisband. Grisband right there is going to get the little token. All right, so that's the end of Shalara's turn. All right, next up is Tatiana. She's going to go 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, she's going to get up there, I guess. 5 right there. She's going to attack this flesh molder with her Elm Grappo. She does have Pierce 1, so yellow and a blue on a gray right there. She ends up missing, and I don't think she has anything she can do to reroll that attack die. All right, last up is Grisband. He's going to move 1, 2, 3, and then spend 2 stamina to charge to go 1, 2, 3 to attack this flesh molder. He's just going to try to finish it off right there. There's the 2 fatigue. He gets a red and a blue. Gets a pierce because of the iron battle axe. Gets a pierce because of the bright blaze. He just needs to do 2 damage, right, against the gray defensive die. All right, so he does 1, 2, 3. He has enough to pierce. He's going to use the extra surge to get rid of a fatigue right there. And this flesh molder goes down right over there. All right, so that is the end of the hero's turn. At the beginning of the Overlord turn, they draw an Overlord card, which is a dash, which is going to be really good for getting extra movement for a monster. And then also the heroes have to choose a stunned and an immobilize effect. So the immobilize is going to go on Tatiana. They think it won't be as punishing because she can shoot where she is. And the stun's going to go on to Shalara because the Sharons can't get stunned again because she really has to get into the battle. All right, and then the Baron's going to go first. He's going to attack Tatiana. He needs 1, 2, 3, 4 range because she is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 range because of her special ability, which lowers the range by 1. He gets a red and a blue. She gets a gray. So yeah, that's 5 range. He gets the 5 range right there. Oops, sorry. It's going to be 3 damage against the 1. So she takes 2 damage. He unfortunately did not get his surge, so he can't do anything that he wants to do. So that's 2. And then he gets to move 4 as well. He's going to try to run away from the battle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because he doesn't want to get KO'd, because then the heroes win. Alright, the Flesh Molders go next. The Master one's going to make a ranged attack in Grisband. So it's 1, 2, needs 3 range with a yellow and a blue. Yellow and blue right there. Grisband gets the gray. So let's see. We end up getting the range, and then we have a lot that we can do right here. Grisband has 7 health left. We got 2 surges. It's the Master one, so we can add 2 damage there. And then we can even use Dark Champions right here to get another 2 damage. So that's 2, 4, 6, 7 minus 2. He takes 5 right there. That is pretty brutal. There's nothing they can do about it. And then this Flesh Molder is going to use its second action to move 1, 2. They're both going to try to block line of sight to the Baron. All right, and then the next one is the regular minion Flesh Molder. It's going to attack right there. Same deal. All right. It doesn't really need any range. It's right next to him. Oh, this is pretty good. It's going to do 1, 2, 3 damage plus a surge, 3 defense on Grisband, but it's going to use that to do an extra 1 damage would not do it, so we're going to use the critical blow to do 3 damage right there. So Grisband's going to get knocked out. So let's go ahead and add all these up. So he's going to go to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He gets his stamina full up right there. His figure gets removed from the map. This is the first time the Overlord got rid of this one, so he gets a threat token right there. Just going to put it up on that defensive ability. And then we have to make a note that this is the first time we got rid of this hero, because you only get 1 threat token per hero per encounter. All right, so we went ahead and added that token right there. And then let's add it onto the map as well. Right here. And then this Flesh Molder is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that is the end of the Overlord turn. All right, for the hero, Shalara is going to go first. She's going to move Bright Blaze 1, 2, 3, 4 right here to give Pierce 1 to those. She is stunned, I believe, so one of her actions is just getting rid of the stun. And then she's going to use free moves with 2 stamina, 1, 2, to go right there. So that is 2 stamina on her. So let's go ahead and add that, or 2 fatigue. She does get her Mana Weave ring back. She is going to then... Oh, she could have... Yeah, that's fine. All right, she's going to go ahead and attack the Master Molder right here. All right, they're going to try to take down this one this turn if they can. So let's go ahead and add all of the stuff. She needs to get a 1, 2, 3 range with the Pierce. Let's add all of the stuff we can do. She gets a yellow and a blue. And then the Master Molder gets a gray and a brown because of the Dark Champions. Let's see if she gets the range. She gets the range. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3 damage. Right there is -1. We are going to use the Mana Weave right there to suffer fatigue to add 2 more. So we're going to go ahead and suffer the fatigue right there. So let's add this all up. So 5 minus 1. So the Master Flesh Molder receives 4 damage. It does have 7 health total. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it has 3 health left. All right, so that's the end of Shalara's turn. Actually, I'm sorry. She had Pierce 1 from Bright Blaze, so that is actually 5 damage. All right, now it's the end of her turn. All right, Tatiana gets to go next. She is immobilized, so she can't move for this turn. So she's going to do a range attack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But she only needs to get 6 range because of her special ability. She does get Bright Blaze. So let's go ahead and see. She needs to do 2 more damage to get rid of this particular Flesh Molder, the Master one. So let's see, red, blue against a gray and a brown. Like I said, I think she needs to get, what was it, 6? She doesn't get the range yet, but she will use the Surge to get 2 more range. So it is 2 damage against the 1, which is unfortunate. It's only 1 damage. Oh, she does have the Pierce, so that is enough to take out the Flesh Molder. But the Overlord's going to use Armor of Darkness for this threat token to get 2 more defense, so then no damage will go through at all. So we're going to go ahead and grab this heroic token, gets to go on someone. It's going to go on Shalara right there. All right, and then the Master Flesh Molder is taken out right there. Her second action, because she's immobilized, is to attack the regular one. The regular one only has 4 health, so it's going to be the same deal, except for the regular one does not get the bonus round defensive die. So she needs to get 6 range because of her ability. It's dropping out. I have to reroll that. All right, she got the range and 2 surges. So let's see if she can end up doing 4 damage. I don't think she can. So she's going to use her first surge to do 2 extra damage. So that is 4 damage. And then, oh yeah, I guess I always forget the Bright Blaze. So that is going through. So that will be defeated. She's going to use her second unused surge to get rid of a fatigue right there. So that takes out this Flesh Molder. Heroes look like they're kind of turning it around. It's a pretty close battle. And then at the end of her turn, the Mobilize goes back to the pool right there. Right, that's the end of her turn. All right, the last turn is a Sharon. She's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's going to use her, I think it's called Healing Rain for 2 fatigue right there. She gets to heal everyone within 3, which is going to be all of them. She gets to roll, I think it's 1 red power die. So let's see what happens. Everyone gets to heal 3. That's really good. So she gets to heal 3. That goes to 2. Grisband's going to come back up. So he's going to remove 3. He's going to come back over here. And then we also get to remove 3 from Shalara. So she's full life, and Tatiana as well. So that is the end of the hero's turn. At the beginning of the Overlord turn, they draw a card. They end up getting Dark Might, which is an extra surge, which is really good. And then the heroes have to choose conditions. So Stunned is going to go on to, let's see, Shalara right here. She'll be stunned, and then Immobilize is going to go on Grisband right there. All right, and then the Baron's going to move, let's see, 1, and then attack. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. It's going to go after, let me think about it. He's going to go after Shalara. Needs to get a 1, 2, 3, 4 range. All right, and then a Sharon's going to use Stone Skin right there for fatigue. So Shalara gets an extra defensive die. So let's go ahead and bring the Baron stuff over here. And let's see what happens. Remember I said 4 range? All right, there we go. He got the 6 range, and there's no defense. So this is kind of anything can go right here. So he has a lot of different options. He's going to use Dark Might to add another surge to the attack right there. So the first thing he wants to do is 3 damage and the surge to add poison to Shalara. He's going to use the extra to do, let's see, another 2 damage. So that's going to be 5 damage and poison on Shalara. Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and add the 5 damage. Let's go ahead and add the poison effect. She'll have to roll Might at the start of her turn, which is, it's a 3, it's an okay. And then he does get a Might token, which is reaching towards his goal. He does have 3 more movement, so after we put on the Might token, or sorry, the poison token, he's going to use his rest, 1, 2, 3 of movement to kind of go over here, to hide a little bit. If he gets knocked out, the heroes win. So that is the end of his turn. First up, the heroes are going to have Shalara go. She is stunned as well as poisoned, so she has to roll a Might test. It's going to be a black and a gray. She has to get 3 or less. She does not get that, so she receives a damage for poison, which is pretty rough. She has to spend an action to get unstunned right there. The stuns are going to be pretty brutal. And then she only has 1 other action, but I forgot to mention before she was going to take her turn. Bright Blaze would go 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. I guess I'll just put it straight up on his spot. So there's Pierce 1. Can she even reach? Let's see. Yeah, I think it goes like straight through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She needs 7 range, so she's going to roll a yellow and a blue. Let's go ahead and see if she gets the 7 range. There's a lot of stuff going on. She can use her Mana Weave to get a surge for a range. So yeah, 7 range. Rolling it up. He gets a black die. She does get the 7 range, so let's go ahead and see what's going to happen. All right, so we have 2 surges, so she will use her heroic token to remove a fatigue. which allows her to then suffer the fatigue to do 2 more damage, and the other surge for another pierce 2. So give me a second to add that all up. So 3 pierce with Bright Blaze, and then 3 damage against the 1. So that is just 2 damage that goes through. She's also going to use Mana Weave to get an extra fatigue to remove 1 from herself. So yeah, 2 damage goes through. Nothing too crazy, but it is 2 damage towards defeating him. That is the goal. Every damage counts. All right, so that's the end of her turn. All right, Tatiana's going to go next. She's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then she's going to use 1 fatigue over here to get an extra movement right there. She then is going to use her second action through that corner to attack the Baron. She needs a 1, 2, 3, 4 range 3 because of her special ability. So let's go ahead and roll this. A black and a blue and a yellow. None of that's worked out. I have to throw that in. All right, so she's doing a lot here. She could re-roll this yellow die if she wants. She doesn't think so. I guess she can try to get another damage, but it's kind of too risky. So let's go ahead and add 2 more damage with the surge. So that is going to be 5 damage on the Baron. So 7 goes through. Sorry, not 7 goes through. He's at 7, so he has 9 life left. So that's the end of Tatiana's turn. I forgot to mention the unused surge gets to remove a fatigue right there as well. Next up is a Sharon. She's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then she's going to attack the Baron with an Oak Staff. She only gets a yellow and a blue, nothing too special, and then he gets a black. She has reach, so it's all good with the staff. All right, she ends up missing, and then she has nothing to do about the miss, so that is the end of her turn. All right, Grisband is last. He is immobilized, but he's going to use his hero ability. He's going to rest, which allows him to get rid of that. Right there, he will remove those tokens at the end of his turn, and he gets to move 3. 1, 2, 3 right there. So yeah, at the end of his turn, he removes these. And that is the end of the hero's turn. At the beginning of the Overlord turn, we draw a card. We get Pit Trap, which is really good for someone that has low awareness like Grisband and Shalara. So they will end up using that later on. And then also the heroes have to choose someone to get immobilized and stunned, so that they have to think about it real quick. They're going to end up using them both onto Grisband right there because he's just kind of low on life. So they want the ranged heroes to be able to go and attack the Baron. So that's immobilized and stun right there. And then the Baron's first activation is going to be attacking a Sharon right there. She gets a gray and a brown die. He gets a red and blue. He does need 2 range. So let's go ahead and see what happens. There's not too much else he can do other than his surge special abilities. So let's see if we get 2 range. Ah, they're stuck. All right, he ends up missing the attack. And then his second action, he's going to think about it real quick because he might be able to do Dominion. He thought about it. He's just going to make his next action running away. 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. Carry everything he has going for him. All right, and that is the end of the Overlord turn. Shalara's going to go next, but before she goes, she's going to move Bright Blaze 1, 2, 3, 4, just like right under the Baron to keep following him for the pierce. She does get her Mana Weave back, and then she's going to roll Might. She has to get 3 or less, or she receives a damage. She's good, so she gets to actually discard Poisoned right there. Her first action, they're going to try to pincer the Baron. So 1, 2, 3, 4 for the first action. On the 4th one movement, the Overlord's going to do Pit Trap. She has to test awareness. She has only 1 for the awareness, so she has to get a 1 or less. She does not, so she loses another health right there, and then another movement point, and it says if she doesn't have another movement point to lose, she gets stunned, and then she will use her second action to get rid of the stun. So that's the end of her turn. Next up is going to be Grisband. He is stunned and immobilized, so he can't move and he loses an action, so he doesn't really have anything else he can do right there. He is next to Tatiana, so he's going to, I guess she would have to go first. She'll go first, but I'm going to kind of backtrack a little bit. During her movement, she'll give the health potion to him, and he will use his 1 action to heal everything. Not that that's a big deal. I know I'm doing it slightly out of order. All right, that's the end of his turn, and then she would have gone first. She's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She does get to reach up over there. 1, 2, 3. She needs a 3 range because of her special ability. He gets a black die, a yellow, and a blue right there. So let's go ahead and add her Elm Great Bow. She has Accurate and Bright Blaze is nearby. So it's a Pierce one. So let's see what we get. Ooh, there's a lot of good stuff. So that's going to be 4 damage. The die is nothing, so 4. So that's 5, 6. So let me see if that's going to be 11, 12, 13. He's not defeated yet. Did we get the range? We did not get the range, but we used the other search for +2. So like I said, 6 damage go through. 5, 6. It's pretty close to getting rid of the Baron right there. He's not looking good. 10, 11, 12, 13. I believe he has 3 life left. So that is the end of Tatiana's turn. All right, last up is a Sharon. She's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. And then she's going to take an attack onto the Baron. She gets a yellow and a blue for her Oak Staff right there. She does have Bright Blaze nearby. So let's see what we end up getting. All right, so 1 Pierce goes through. So there's 2 defense right here. 4, 5 damage. Mine said 2 defense, so 3 damage goes through. That is enough to take out the Baron. So we are going to go to the heroes win, and we're going to go to the rewards section. All right, for the rewards, win or lose, each player gets an experience. So I'll go ahead and do that in a second. If the heroes win, they receive 25 gold per hero. The next available quest is Kaladin's Crossing, so that's going to happen. If the Overlord wins, they did not. If the Shadow Rune was set aside, they never had enough surges to get rid of it. No one would have received the relic otherwise, which is what happened. The Overlord receives the Shadow Rune relic. I'm going to go ahead and do the shopping and all the upgrades in just a moment. All right, the heroes ended up with Tatiana at 1 experience, Shalara 2, Asharian 1, Grisban 1. Heroes Gold is 275. The Overlord got 1 experience and has 1 threat. So we're going to go ahead and do the shopping phase first. All right, for the shopping phase, we go ahead and draw 5 cards. Iron Shield. This allows you to get a reroll of a die or add 1 defense. So far, everyone has 2-handed weapons, so that's not too good because they don't have slots for it. It is cheap, though. Leather Armor is pretty good. Add a health, another brown die. Someone's probably going to pick that up. We have an Iron Spear, which is also good. That's a 1-handed weapon, a blue and a yellow. It can do reach. It has extra damage for surge and pierce, so then maybe someone could get these 2. We'll see what else we draw. Crossbow is pretty good. Comes with that one's 1 hand, which will be good for Tatiana. Automatic pierce, extra damage, and damage in moving targets. That's very powerful effect. All right, and the last thing is Sunburst right here, a magic rune. This could be good for Shalara. She can do a little bit more damage and then stun as well. I'm going to go ahead and do math and sell some stuff and then see what we pick up for everyone. Give me a second. We're going to pick up these 4 after selling some starter items. The heroes will have 25 gold left right there. So they have 25 gold. Tatiana is going to have that pass up on the crossbow. She did just get a new bow, so it's not too bad. So the Iron Spear is going to go onto a Sharon. She had the Oak Staff before, and then she also gets the shield. So she is super tanky. She now gets a little bit of potential pierce, and she has reach. That was basically like the staff before was the reach and then the chance to do an extra damage. Now she has a chance to pierce, which will be good to have the option. The shield is also extra good. The leather armor, we're going to go ahead and give to Shalara just to give her 11 health, another defensive die. She was pretty weak. We could have given it to Grisband, but Grisband has been pretty good on like health. He has 14 health, so he will be slightly weaker, but then Sharon can use her heals on him. And then she's also going to get this Sunburst magic rune. She can do a little bit more damage, and the stun's going to be super powerful, especially when she does a blast attack with the stun. All right, so that's all the shopping. Shalara is going to spend her 2 experience for Iron Will. She gets a +1 stamina total, so she has 6 instead of 5. And then each time she spends an extra surge during an attack to recover 1 fatigue, she'll get to recover 2. So now she can keep using her spells and surges a bunch. We're going to go ahead and spend Grisband's 1 experience on Brute. He gets 4 more additional health, so he'll have 18. Whenever you stand up or revived by another hero, he gets to recover 2 additional hearts. So this will make him nice and beefy, even though we didn't give him a leather armor earlier. All right, the Overlord decides to save its experience and its 1 threat. And this is what everything looks like at the end of the shopping experience. All right, that is the end of the Baron Returns Part 2.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Good night.